I guess it's not the
Will
music
we
people
have
are-
the same faces here? And Angela has two colors. I guess this is for me and for you, Mehdi.
Yeah, it's green.
We are shopping.
It's not green. No, green and pink don't fit together, actually.
It's
Actually,
gray, so GR, the same letters.
I don't mind. I even don't have green myself, so.
Oh, the mustache guy, Charles, is here. Hello, Charles.
Do we give people nicknames now? The mustache guy and the pink lady.
Karen. Laure is here. Bonjour, Laure. Antonis. Hello. But I see new faces, or maybe I didn't see them before. Long Ku. Hello.
No, they bought a camera after side session.
Where are you from, Long? Can you write in the chat?
I can tell you.
You can tell me?
Yeah.
And also, like, Miss Evans, I don't dare to try your first name. What is it? How do you say this?
Rhiannon.
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 Yeah.
She was here also in a
Yeah, I
live
know. That's
session.
why I was like, okay, last session, at least the serious one. I was like, trying to that I know her
Sonali.
name.
And Eric with
God.
his cap, of course. Hi, everyone.
Well-
Of course, we cannot pinpoint everybody, but we see you. We see you. You're here in a lot of session, and welcome
That is
here.
like a school teacher. After every session, she has her checklist. And she was there. She was there.
Yeah, because I love this.
Yeah. Feel free to join us on. Turn your cameras on if you like. This is the last time to do that. It's a safe space, kind of. So
It's not the last time.
it's the last time where it is an official like presentation. Later on, we will have the after party with coffee and beer. You have to
Can
bring
you
it
believe
yourself.
we already have a question?
Wow. Is it a
Let's
serious
start
one?
with the Q. Let's start with the Q&A and then
Yeah,
afterwards.
Q&A session. Do you all naturally get along? Absolutely not. In fact, we hate each other. It
Yes.
doesn't show
There
during
is
the-
like one or two people that we really hate. So we know that edition 2, you will see it will only be 2 person. There will be another fit for facilitation.
Mehdi told me before I should not say something positive in the session because he has enough of me saying things positive. Can you believe this? So actually we cannot stand each other at all anymore. I was like,
No, it's
For those
absolutely
who've
not
been
true.
there
it's not
yesterday,
true.
it's
So-
because of the jinx. Huh? It's because she's gonna jinx it. That's why. And look what happened to Said. He didn't have any recording to share with you guys. The guy is recording every session, and when
When it's his
Yeah,
own
and-
session,
This is the point. And then for my own session, nobody cared about me. That's the point. I was presenting, maybe we support him or
It's
do
not
anything.
true.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
guys,
Okay.
I propose that we start because we got feedback that sometimes we take too much time to start.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it was
So
only
let's-
for you, Mehdi. You start late. We were all fine. So go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm learning from my mistakes, so that's why I'm like jumping in.
Let's
Alright.
go. Let's
And I
go.
have a big competitor today because I don't know you guys, but the sun is shining. So I'm sure like I'm competing with your terrace and your garden. So let's make it nice. Let's make it useful. So the session about today is going to be about the after workshop, something that is not used by many, but it's such a great space to deliver even more value to the client, to differentiate yourself, and even to go to get more business opportunities. So we're going to deep dive into that. It's the last series session. Then at 5 o'clock, we will have the after party of Fit for Facilitation, where we will like share like some good vibes, the good news, all the assets that you've been asking us, like the recordings and sometimes the slides. It's going to be a lot of fun, a connection moment. So we hope that we will see you at 5 o'clock European time. And I guess one of my co-hosts, I can put in the chat the
I'll do this.
other time zone time. Okay. So I guess you I guess you know by now I'm the consultant, so I always have slides. So there will be slides and I will navigate through them. Okay. So after workshop, making next steps happen. Let's go. But as I will be quick because I guess by now you know me, except if there are new faces. So my name is Mehdi. I'm a workshop facilitator. I've been designing sessions for the last 5 years. I'm having my own facilitation agency called Facilitators Corner, and also still working for a big consultancy where I'm running a innovation studio. All right. So today, as always, we'll have prizes to win. So you will have the chance to get the one-on-one coaching with me. Feel free to change it with someone else or my co-host if you like. And then you'll also have the chance to win an amazing license of Storms. And I forgot a Z. Great one, Mehdi. All right. So I used to believe that a great workshop was enough for people to make things happen after the session. I thought if I deliver an amazing workshop experience and I deliver the customer expectation, I go even beyond that. But obviously, people are going to do that. And guess what? I was wrong. So, you know, when you start facilitation, and for those who have been in my level up session, it's like in the beginning, you're in love with the craft and the universe is making everything easier. At least this was my beginning. So the first experience that I had, I was like, oh, this is what is so great with workshop. It builds momentum, it creates ownership. People are super excited. They're going to do the stuff. And my first experiences, they were doing the stuff. And I was lucky. Of course, they were doing it at their own speed. So I was not necessarily happy about the time it took, but still I was happy that it was taking place. Because when I compared to the other things I was doing as consultant, sometimes I was coming back and I was like, what did you do with that? But we never do it. So thanks. But still, we need your help today. So blah, 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 blah. So this is also the beauty of workshop. But what I've got to realize after those years, after a couple of workshops, is actually that workshops don't fail in the room, they fail afterwards. So did he just quote himself? Yes, I did. It was my picture, it was my name, and I was quoting myself. No, just kidding. But I think this is like to deliver a decent workshop. It's not that hard. I mean, like if you know the fundamentals, you will be able to deliver a good job. You will be able to make people excited about the thing. But what is really hard is the after session, and I will explain why. So after workshop, again, people are going to be excited and ready to act. So most of the time, you create something strong. People are like, if you deliver, and especially at the end of the session, if you have like the right activity, you will always see smiles on people's faces. You will see them like very motivated to do the thing, to implement the roadmap, to implement the design, to go to the next step in their collaboration improvements, etc., etc. But what happened after is that they go back to real life. So workshops are exciting, but reality is not. So they have been gone for half a day, sometimes a week, and they come back, and then it's normal life again. They go to their email box full of emails, they have meetings, they have their operational tasks to deliver, and this makes it like they lose the focus on what happened in the session because they have so many other things to do, and like the business as usual will usually always take the focus of people. So this is why it's super hard that things happen afterwards. So what I got to realize as a facilitator, and what I would advise you to do is ask myself two questions. The first one is, how can I help this group of people actually deliver the thing we said we will during the session? And the second question is, how can I make it easier for them? I mean, this is the question you should ask yourself like at every stage when you're facilitating for a client. But I mean, even at the end, even when the workshop is delivered, is like, how can I make it easy for them to do the actions? Okay? So we got it, Mehdi. Give us like concrete tactics, and this is where I'm going. Like, let me share with you 5 tactics to activate the workshop magic. So the first one is clear next steps with real ownership is key. So I know most of you, I'm sure, you don't end your workshop on things that are not clear, on things that are not committing anyone to do anything. But sometimes I've seen it with facilitators. I don't know, it was just a brainstorming workshop. It was just an alignment workshop. But I believe no matter the nature of the workshop, there always need to be a time where you focus on defining what will happen afterwards. Okay? When people leave the room, when they leave the workshop, they need to have clarity on what needs to happen. So this is why it's super important that you take this into consideration and that you have activities where you're going to define the next steps, who's going to do the next steps, etc., etc. All right. So I'm going to give you like a couple of tips. Like, for example, if you define the next steps, like make sure that you have a real date. You know, so I've seen this, like sometimes it's like, yeah, it just like, let's pick something random and you say, yeah, it needs to happen in 2 weeks. No, you want to make it clear. You don't want to make people to think. Pick a date. Even if it's not the perfect date, even if it's not real, if you see afterwards that it's not realistic, they can change it, but you don't want people to think. They leave the workshop, I know I need to do this by the 15th of May. It's clear in my mind. I have this deadline. Another tip, it's called the accountable buddies, is like instead of just having one owner to a next step, you will put 2 owners together so that they become accountable buddies. For example, like if I say, Nathy, your next step is to do this. Said, your next step is to do that. And I'm going to pair Said and Nathy so that I'm sure that together they will be accountable buddies and ensuring that the other one is also delivering his next step. And I've actually learned this from Romy Alexandra, and I've been experimenting with it. It's great. I've done an amazing workshop podcast episode with her. It's going to be released tomorrow. So feel free to check this out. She's the queen of learning experience design. Really advise you this one. So, of course, as always, if there are questions, let me know in the chat. And my co-facilitator will tell me. All right, the second one. I know it's not even like, it's not really after the workshop, but it's the end. So I think it's important. It's make sure that you take the time to wrap up what happened during the session. Of course, as a facilitator, you know the agenda, you master it, you know what happened from the first activity to the last one, but participants don't have that. You know, you are taking them from one to another one. They don't necessarily see the red line. They're just like navigating through the agenda that you created for them. So it's important that at the end of the session, you summarize everything. According to a lot of studies, like people tend to remember a lot the ending of an experience and also the beginning. So that's why at the end, when they really need to almost leave, you want to summarize everything so that it's clear to anyone. Okay. And you also want to use that opportunity to, I would say, not show off, but make them realize how much you did. So what I did is like, hey guys, we started the day, we had no clue about how we are going to tackle that challenge. Now we've come up with some blocking points. We come up with ideas that have been prioritized. We know that Nathy is going to do this one, Said is going to do this one, and they will do it by the 15th of May. So you just summarize, it's clear when they leave the room, again, they know it. Okay? So a pro tip here is that I want to manage the expectation and tell them that what's going to happen is going to be hard because they're going to go back to the real life and they're going to have other priorities. And it's normal that sometimes they will lose focus. So I will tell them, like, get ready. This is important. This is why we spent a day together, 2 days a week, because it's an important topic. It's going to bring you, no matter the value that was defined in the session. So keep that in mind. And then sometimes when I even have the time, I will discuss with them about like, hey guys, what are the challenges that could prevent you from doing the things we said we will do in this workshop? So that we can even give them tips on how to navigate, the after workshop where it's gonna be challenging and they're going to lose focus, etc., etc. Okay. Does someone like Nathy? I see you unmuting yourself.
Yes. Summarize end of workshop during the workshop. This was a question, Matthew. I don't understand the question. So you are summarizing at the end the takeaways that you had during the workshops you led, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, and this is where it's really important to connect very deep with the topic. So usually in my breaks, when I'm not like preparing the next activities, I will go back to each of the activity, remind myself of the prioritized item, the things that are more important, etc., etc., so that I'm able at the end to deliver a proper summary.
Yeah. And maybe also the reaction of your participant during the session that you saw during some of the activities. Do you talk about this also in your wrap-up?
How do you mean? What do you mean?
You summarize the takeaways. Do you summarize also the reaction and that you could see during the session that that the participant had some realization during the activities, for example?
I mean, if something really, I don't know, if someone was really skeptical or someone had a big aha moment, I may put the highlight on this. But I tend to be really sharp in my summary because this is what I want people to remember. So I don't want to pollute with details that don't matter. But of course, you know me. There will always be a joke, and the joke may be the linking to this activity that happened, or no matter what.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you do something different, like mention it, Nathy, go ahead.
No. I try to say I could see, for example, in these activities that people really realize that they have to do this and this and this. So I try to put also, I'm different. Maybe I'm not too sharp, but I try also to bring, if there were some aha moment, I try to bring them also in the summary.
Okay. So also, like, what I do is like I cheer them up. So sometimes there are art activities. There's like, and this is where you pushed even more, and you were able to come up with the conclusion that is this and this. But I mean, it's in soft way in the wrap up. Is there another question? No. Okay. Of course, we can also cover this in the Q&A session. All right, the third one. Something tangible to take away. So I said it in the beginning of the session, I love slides. So I always make sure that I summarize what happened in the workshop. And I think this is really something that is not done by a lot in the practice, because like I've heard a lot like, yeah, my job is to deliver the session and then I'm gone. And then you see the client taking picture. And I had clients telling me, I need to take the pictures, right? It's like usually I don't necessarily tell them that I'm going to do that so that it's like a surprise. But yeah, you can take pictures, or I've taken pictures, I will be able to send it to you. But what I do, again, I want to make it easy for them. So I'm going to do the pictures myself, and I'm going to summarize the key takeaway of the session. Okay? Because what's going to happen is that, again, the client team, the decider, the person that is going to take the pictures, first is not as invested than you in the session. So what's going to happen is that he's going to open the pictures, I don't know, the day after, a week after, a month after. He's going to read back the sticky notes. Oh, I don't remember. I cannot read this. So it's going to mostly go to the garbage, or it's going to be like asking question and everyone has forgotten. So what I do is that I make a report where I summarize the key activities. And when I say the key activities, is the trap is that we don't need to summarize everything. There are activities in your workshop that are just there to help participants connect the dots, be able to go through a multiple steps to, at the end, deliver something more important. So I'm not going to document those activities because they are just there to be able for the participant to deliver the big solution, the big strategy, whatever it is. But just like the key notions that they need to remember, meaning like, I don't know, an important decision they made, actions that have been prioritized, who will do what, the deadlines, and things like this. All right. Again, the trap when you do slides, and it can be everything. I've also done some Notion. I will show you a concrete example. But what is important is that, again, it needs to be sharp, to the point. No one is going to open a 20, 30 slides document, a long PDF. So make it attractive, make it nice to read. And it really needs to be like the tool that the team is going to go back to remind themselves what they need to do. I don't know if you do strategy workshop, road mapping workshop, OKR workshop. I mean, those things are going to be used for a while, for the entire year after. So if each time they go back to your document, this is what I need to do, this was my objective, it's going to be easier for them to implement it. Okay, so let me show you concrete examples. And I'm going to give you a lot of tips on how I do it. So I take a lot of pictures in my workshop. First, it's great for me, but also I use them to make my document nicer for the client. So for example, it was a team retreat I've done in Belgium coast. But again, I start with a nice quote, like it was about the next year. And then I show also them that we've worked hard, but you also had fun. And then we see an entire picture of the team. Then I summarized the OKRs, because it was an OKR workshop that day, in one single document. And this is where I go the extra mile. I just don't only copy the sticky notes. I will try to simplify them, change the wording, optimize them, because sometimes you voted on a couple of ones. Like you have 3 sticky notes, you have the decider vote, one another, one with the teams. So you want also to bring things together, and I will do that. And this is why I will explain you also how I do my debrief, because in my debrief, there is also a check with the client so that the client is still okay with the thing I've done, because I can also do mistakes when I do something like this. All right. So this is an example. I'm going to use another example. So this was for bigger, it's in French, sorry. But just to show you also like a more, I would say, long-term collaboration with a client. I've done a lot of interviews. It was to transform an entire team in their ways of working. So basically how they should work, the org chart, what should be the process, etc., etc. And I've done interviews with the entire team. We are talking about like 18 people. I'm not sending them like a long report of everything I've learned with those guys. There is 3 slides. There is 2, like this is positive, so that you don't only tell them what they need to do. Like those things are great. Leverage them. There is like what can be improved. 6 points, not more than this. And because when I have a good feeling with the client, I may overstep my guide role and give them recommendation. So you see like here you have a recommendation slide. It's like based on what I've seen after working with you during that session, during the interviews, the after session, I would advise you to pay attention to this, to implement this, etc., etc.
This is about being a strategic partner, what we said yesterday
Exactly.
in our session. Exactly.
And this is what I will also explain in the debrief, that I'm not showing the same stuff to the decider and to the team. So of course, this slide is not shared to the team. This is only for you and the person that has the decision power. Okay? All right, I'm going even further, and just to show you a concrete example so that you can also reproduce this if you like that. So for example, this was an exercise to create a purpose for a team. We generated this. Then the decider picked something. It was merging IDs. And to show you at the end what we have in the slide, we only have that. So we have 3 sentences. I made a job of summarizing, and this is where Alex intervenes. Like with the technology today, with ChatGPT, you can really improve this. But basically, I try to make it simple, because at the end of the day, if you work on purpose or any other things, you want people to remember it. So if you send them like a 7-line sentence, they will never be able to repeat this again. So I always try to go the extra mile to make things even easier. Okay. icing on the cake, I'm sharing with you all my secrets. So my goal in general, like I think this is like the vibe that my clients get when they work with me. We do great stuff, we do hard work, but we're also having fun. So my last slide is always like a fun slide. And there I share like the fun facts, some jokes that we made during that day. So that it's just a way for me to remind them, like, look, we've created this amazing strategy in only 3 hours, but we also had fun doing it. And I just like, and maybe they don't read this slide, I don't know, but they read the slide and they have a smile on their face. Okay. And the first example, it was a 3-hour workshop with a executive board. And you see, you can also laugh with those guys. You can even do an icebreaker. And I use the icebreaker to actually gather jokes and funny stories. And the other one, it was a week workshop with this team. So I was able to identify a lot of funny things. Again, I don't say that you need to do this. It's just like do something that matches your style, your facilitation style. And it's also a way to differentiate yourself in the after workshop, in the workshop in general.
I really like the fun facts. I will use it in my next report. So fun facts and really the things with the photo, this is also something that I always do, and I send it also extra in a Google Drive, the photos itself, so that they can reuse it to cheer their team and cheer the work they have achieved. So I also put it in one of the slides to couple it with the activities and show the key moment. And this is really something I can only advise when your participants are doing the activities and you have 1 or 2 minutes, take your iPhone and take the photos and just have a look that the participants are looking great on the photos. So don't put photos where people are really struggling maybe, because it's about highlighting them and that they feel good when they look at it after. So yeah.
So I see like question in the chat. No, I don't hire a professional photograph. It happened to me for important session, but then I tend to take like more someone that can make videos, because then you can make like nice after movies and stuff like this. And then I do it with my phone. And also like if you do like me, I take a lot of pictures. At some point you can have like weird faces, like why does he take pictures of us? And then I reassure them that I'm just gonna use those pictures in webinars with strangers. I'm just kidding.
That was a joke, guys. Just saying.
One of the things that works well is that you're going to say, I take photos for you so that you can have a souvenir in the workshop. And then you send them all the photos, and they really like that.
Mm.
And you know that I can tell you a lot of time, I have people at the end of the session that they ask me like, can you send me the picture? Because people want to look good and people want to show off with those things. I've been in this really cool workshop and they're going to put a picture of themselves, working. So this is also what you want to do, is like make people or her client look good. I will come back to that, but you can also use it this way. And also what I do, and I really like all my secrets, like if I have a multiple day workshop with clients, like in my slides, I will already integrate the picture of the team in the new slide deck. I don't know, presenting the agenda, presenting the takeaways of the day before. And then they're always impressed. Wow. Like he went the extra mile for the experience of today.
And if you are doing workshops in Asia, I don't know if some of you are going to Asia, you will see that the photos, this is like the obligatory things. They will make like selfie with the whole group. This is why every time in Asia I have selfie, they want to have it. So yeah, just for that.
So I see, like, no, you can also do it in remote. What is great in remote is that you have, like, for example, Butter, it generates GIFs. You can use I don't know if you say GIF or GIF. Like, Said, yeah, maybe I'll let you.
Yeah, first, it's a GIF. And the second thing is...
Good to know after all those years.
Yeah, but Butter can generate GIFs, or I can generate GIFs. I'm just as efficient as if you have a recording. I think it's always nice to also have some motion and some capturing, momentum or something like this. It's often, at least for me, more fun than just a static photo. But
maybe
if we have the time, I can show you how I do it also. Like I also I will take screenshot, but screenshot don't necessarily look good. And then I will put the screenshot on my computer and take like nice angle. to give it a more style. Okay, it's another. I have a course on this, like how to make great pictures for work. No, I'm just kidding.
Said, could you share in the chat? You have a link where you can make a GIF from a recording. Can you put it in the chat for the people who are not using Butter? Because I cannot remember anymore the name.
Already done.
Thank you.
All right. So, okay, I do this, and then something else I do is like I create a practical tool for action. And a tool, it means like an asset. Like I could not really find the word. I will show you what it is, but it's like, again, what can I do extra to make it even easier for them after the session? So it's nice to have great slides. It works. It summarizes well. And I've seen also Facilitator, you know, they take pictures and they put them on a Google slide, and it's like awful. So don't do that. And I'm sorry if you do. But
I
like,
just say this like 2 minutes ago. You recognize what you do. I just said my customer want the photos, so I put them on a Google Drive so that they can
no, the photo
on
of the
top.
sticky notes, Nathy. I was talking about the
Sorry.
sticky notes. No, of course, of the
Sorry.
people, that's nice. It's also an asset I sent when they ask. Okay. All right. So I create a practical tool. I will show you again a couple of examples. And yes, you will see it takes me time, but I can tell you the investment pays off. You know, when I do workshop and I don't always have the interviews before, I used to do that a lot more before, but now it's like sometimes I think the value is not necessarily there. But when I have biggest workshop, like the one I need to design a new ways of working, I always ask this question, like, have you been in a workshop before? And they will tell you yes, no, but a lot of time when they tell me yes, they will tell me like, yeah, we did something and then it was nice, it was cool, it was creative, but we never did something else after. We never used what we created. And you don't want to be the facilitator that, you know, especially me, since I'm trying to like bring fun also in my session, I don't want to be that clown that just come here to have fun. I really want to help them. I want them to call me because they know that I can make work happen. So this is why I'm doing that investment. And this is what also they understand why my rates are not, I would say, low. It's also like it will help you justify your premium rate. All right. And I believe, again, a facilitator true impact is measured after the session, not during. At the end of the day, did we lose 2 days, or were those 2 days a game changer and then allowed us to reach a milestone? So again, let's make it more tangible by sharing example. So again, an example, I've been doing a lot of those recently, like OKR workshop. By the way, if you were in the session of yesterday, great way to package them. OKR workshops before the end of the year, defining what's going to happen next year. There is also a hype around OKRs now and more in Europe. So take advantage of that. So we were defining the OKRs with a management team of a big part of the organization. And then they told me like one of the next step was, okay, now we need to define the OKRs for our own team. You know, it was not one of the next steps for every managers in the room. And when I did, I created my report. I put all my guidelines to create nice OKRs, and I've created spaces for each of the team so that they were able to create their own OKRs for their own team, and they could follow the guidelines and do it themselves. And you know, it's this extra gesture, extra effort that's, I think, makes the difference. So what is OKR? OKR is a way, I don't know where it's coming from. It's a methodology to define objectives. And it's focused more on key results. So a lot of times it's about output. So we want to do this and we want to do that. And this is how we measure if we're going to achieve it. OKR is more a way like you're going to assess yourself if you really reach an outcome. So it's outcome based, not output based, which, let's be honest, is the way to go, because it's nice to be busy doing things, but if those things are not delivering any value, you're just wasting your time. Let me share like what is the second example. Yesterday I was mentioning this, like, and I think it's a great story because for those who are subscribed to my newsletter, I've done a big workshop with 150 people to kick off a new department. It was about change management. And one of the next steps we identified was to create a strong communication strategy to create awareness. Like, you know, in change management, the first step is like creating awareness about what's going to happen. And then as a good facilitator and sales guy, I told them, like, yeah, I can help you. We can create this communication plan, blah, 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 blah. So we've done this workshop. And again, I summarized the entire communication strategy on slide. Here I did it according to their branding so that it's easier to use internally within their team, within their company, and also created a roadmap. And you know, as good as me, like a roadmap it should be a living asset. It needs to adapt to what's happening to the company, to what's happening based on the result that the team is delivering. So I've also created a Miro template with every item of the roadmap so that they can update and keep using the Miro board. And basically yesterday night I went there, I saw that they categorized this even further, that it was like they made it ugly by adding other stuff. So this is also what you want to do. Another example. Again, here in the same example that is described in my newsletter, we made videos in that workshop. And my intervention was just to deliver the kickoff. And what I've done, again, as an extra effort, I built a website on Notion, nothing fancy. And I took all the videos and I placed them because we had this idea of people are going to vote on the videos and we're going to use the videos in the communication plan. So again, it took me, I don't know, 1 day of work, but it was super well appreciated. And it was easy for them to not lose the momentum and to send this to the people so that they can vote afterwards. Okay. Another example, I was working with a team about ways of working. We defined an entire process. They wanted to work more in an agile way. I know they had access to a tool called Trello in the company. So I created a Trello board with the different steps of the process and with an examples of an initiative they wanted to do so that they could see concretely how it was done. And you see, like when you have things like this, okay, we have the summary of the workshop. We already have the tool. So what they do, next team meeting, they take the tool and they use it. And this is how you make sure that what you created during the session really impact. And of course, Alex is always using the tool since the beginning.
That was the main tool we used in the Storms team at the beginning of the company.
Okay, awesome. So, I did not have an illustration? Yeah, I did. Follow up to keep the momentum alive. Okay, you've done all those great things. You've built some assets. You've built some slides. What next? And this is where it really depends on the workshop. So here, of course, what I do always, like send them a quick reminder. Like, hey guys, we had a lot of fun last week. We were able to do this and this and this. It will look like a bit like the wrap up, but in a written form. And this is where you can also add the slides, you can add the tools, and just again, making it easy so that it's become on top of mind. Usually I will try to, I don't know, if the workshop was on Friday, I will send it like Tuesday morning because I know Monday is too busy. So you also want to take those things into consideration. Schedule a check-in. So what I do is like after a week, I will call the decider. Okay, how did it go? Did you already see some stuff happening? And what is interesting here is that I don't always do it with the decider. Sometimes I also do it with, I believe, what key participants, like champion. The guys, you know, in a workshop, you always have like 2 guys that are contributing to, I don't know, 60% of the outcome. So those guys are also great to create a links because they can also promote you within the organization. And they're also going to be the one to implement more stuff that was decided. Okay. Last thing, you want to involve the leadership. So again, if we did a workshop, it meant that it was important. So sometimes having just a support of the manager reminding to the participant, I know it may sound cliche, but it works, hierarchy, you know. Like if you have the boss saying like, hey guys, there is a reason why we spent 2 days with Mehdi. Let's make this thing happen. Or explaining to everyone that this should be the priority, then it will become the priority. And this is also like things you can use, okay? So those are my 5 tactics on how basically you can really activate the magic of workshops. Now I'm going to move like, how can you leverage this to generate business? Is it now, like said, can you have a evil laugh? No, no. Do you have this sound? Like, just... Thank you.
I guess no, guys, put all your mic on, and now we are going to 3, 2, 1.
Wow. I think I've heard some strong voices, and you are doing it very well, guys. So that's perfect. I will send back my soundboard to Amazon. I don't need this anymore. All right. So how can you maximize the after workshop to generate business? First thing first, you need to make your homework. What I mean by that is like, okay, you've been interacting with these clients, you did the preparations, maybe sometimes interviews, you had different calls with the clients, you delivered the session. What are the opportunities that you identified? So sometimes it's like, okay, I've seen that they don't work this way. They have a problem with that. Something like, I don't know, if you do a sailboat, you prioritize something, and then there are other things in the sailboat that you can reuse. So make your homework and try to pick like 1 to 3 things that could be interesting for the client to do. That's the first thing. Like, again, just the homework here, but so that you know that those things could be opportunities. Then, if you think that those things could be good opportunities, you want to think about like, how are you going to help the client with those things? The mistake I've done is that I've done the work, like, you know, I've done my homework. I'm going to propose to help them with that, and then ask me the question, okay, but how much time will it take? How do you see it? What do you need from us? And I was like, let me come back to you with this. So this is how far you want to go, is that you want to have already a plan. Oh, this I can do in half a day workshop. I would just need a bit of discovery here, or this, it's like, it will require me, I don't know, a multiple session with the team. But at least when you discuss with the client, you know those things. You can give him an idea of like, I'm not going to say budget, except if he really asks the question. And you should have the numbers, by the way, but just like an idea of quantity of work, effort, like how much effort it's going to take. Okay. Again, something I believe works well, and it really depends of the client, but it's like, okay, based on what you've seen, what are the 3 recommendations that you can give? Again, you want to have this peer relationship. It's not like me, I'm the contractor. No, as Nathy said, I'm the strategic partner here. And you want to give him strategic advice so that he perceives you this way. So this is really important. Like, this is like, I think this is my magic tip. I really take time to think about this and to get advice. You want to add something on this, Nathy?
No, I was distracted in this chat, and absolutely sorry. I heard the strategic partner and I lose the rest of the... I'm so sorry.
No problem. Strategic partner, that's me. Okay.
That's me.
So again, you want to use those homework. Oh. You want to use this homework in the debrief. So the way I do debrief, I'll absolutely do debrief with the decider. This is a non-negotiable. I always book a time, like a 1 hour, sometimes even more, with the decider, and it can take time based on their busy agenda. And then I will have a meeting with them, and I will first ask feedback. What did you think about it? Most of the time, they already told you after the session, this was great, but depends, right? So you want to ask it. If you didn't do the technique that was proposed by Alex of taking the feedback at the moment, personally, I don't do this. I will ask it there. And I also will share another technique I do. I will offer the recommendation that I identified in the homework, propose the next steps like I mentioned, and then I will discuss with him the idea of presenting with the team. So what I've noticed sometimes is that some clients don't like you to organize a debrief with the entire team right away because they feel like you're taking their power away. So this is why I want to check this with the client. So sometimes they obviously let's do it together. Sometimes they want to do it themselves. And then it's like, okay, based on what I've shown, like, do you need something extra? Can I create something else for you so that you have everything to make sure that the debrief goes well? And again, it's those extra effort that again pays back in the end. And then I always finish that discussion. Okay, you seem to have enjoyed the collaboration. Is there anyone within your organization that could be interested by those services? Especially since I'm targeting corporates, like it's huge. They will advise me to their friends. Sometimes, let me put them in connection. So you will need to follow this up. It's like, oh, can you introduce me to that person like you said? And then they will give an email. Hey, I've worked with this guy, Mehdi in CC. I think it could be interesting for this or for that. Or you just do the hard work yourself. You identify like phone number or whatever your sales strategy or style. And you take actions to contact the people. And it's so much easier to say, hey, I've been working with that guy. He was happy and he gave me your name. Boom. All right, I don't have a stranger on the phone. I have trust. He knows my company. Because, a lot of time, they want to be reassured that you worked in a similar industry or in the same company. So you're giving them like this reassurance by saying that you're coming from that guy.
Yes, this is also a thing that I'm doing definitely. And this is why I'm working with 4 or 5 clients in a year, even if there are some coming now and then others. But because I'm working always with big companies, offering the things in a horizontal way means to the different departments. And when you have your first fit, and this is where I am absolutely agree with Mehdi, when you put the extra mile the first time delivering more than what was expected, this is your key also to be recommended to others, whether others in the company or whether others, other people, the person who is in the company maybe another company, a friend of him, we were working with Nathy or with Mehdi and he delivered that, you should contact him. So really agree on that.
Thanks, Nathy. I think this one is big, especially if the higher you work within an organization, this happens a lot of time. Like people love to exchange with peers in the industry of people that have the same role. And then they can also like recommend you to those things. So what you want to do is also activate the participants. So this is almost my last business tip is that, again, sometimes in workshops, you will have important stakeholders in the room. So when you have like something strategic, something that is cross departments, you will have, head of digital that is in the room, head of communication. So those could be perfect customers for you. So you want to create connection with those guys, at the coffee break, chat more with those guys. And then you have the possibility to then follow up with them. What did you think about the workshop? You seem to have a great time. Do you think that it could be something interesting for you? Of course, you don't do this during the workshop because you're there with a specific focus, but to follow up. And again, you can ask the decider, hey, I've seen this lady. She told me that she could be interested. Can you put me in contact with her? Can you give me her contact details, etc.? And also sometimes what I do is like, who can become my strong supporter? So sometimes you will see, again, the champion in a room. They can also like promote you when you're not there. When there's something strategic coming in, oh, maybe there we need help. Those guys can tell, hey, maybe we can call Mehdi's back for this. And this is what you want to do is create connection with them. What I do sometimes is like, let me give you an example. I was doing this workshop and then I gave them my contact details and I said to the entire team in the email, if you're struggling with the task, just give me a call or reach out to me. And then I'm in a call going again, it was for the OKRs. Like, this is how you can do the OKRs with your team. Here are my tips. Then she called me again, like, can you check the result to see if it's good? And then I took the time again. And to be honest, I do a lot of effort for the first collaboration. I don't always go that extra mile for every time because I know then they will come back to me. And then she was really happy. And I'm going to show you with that example. I used Google Translation because it was in French. So there is this like my ex-client, he moved from another team.
Mehdi?
Yeah.
Mehdi, if you want us to see anything, you're on the wrong scene.
Oh, man. Did it again.
But it's fine. Nobody noticed. It's fine.
So here's the email. Okay. So I translated this email, and I was working with a client who loved working with me, but he took another team. So great for me because I got to work with the other team, but also the team I was working with, I created the connection with strong participants. So you see in the email, I think it's, let me see where it is. Was very much appreciated by the team. So I'm sure, I know for a fact that there is 2 people in this team who have been pushing for me to come back. And you see in the email, right away, I have 3 days workshop I can facilitate. Like there is this 3 days I want to work with you. And guess what? What was also funny is like when I prepared the offer for the client asked me, Mehdi, we have 70 agile coaches, facilitators. How can I justify that I call someone externally for this? And this is also what you want to do. Sometimes you do the extra mile to help your client convince internally why they would need this type of expertise. All right, so those are the bonus tips that I couldn't put anywhere. Help the client shine in front of their stakeholders. What I do when I do a LinkedIn post and you see like, I've done this workshop with this amazing client, I know people don't care about this post, but I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for the client. Because then the client can like, hey, this was so much fun. Look at me. They will reshare it. Then a colleague of them are going to see the post. I also want to do this nice workshop. So you see, this is why I do such posts.
And just make sure, I do this also, just make sure, please all, that your client agree that you put photos on LinkedIn. Just make sure about that because it can be also problematic. But this is really a good way to highlight your clients when you have the authorization to put the photo out.
Definitely. And I've learned this the hard way. I put a post one time and then the client was not happy about one of the picture. Not about the post, but about one of the picture. So I needed to remove the post. Because they don't know on LinkedIn, you cannot just remove the picture. It doesn't work this way. So, but yeah, good tips. And something else, I don't know if it should be here, but it's another tip I'm going to give you, is I've worked with them on a certain topic. So I know it's a hot topic for them. So if I find back an article, a podcast episode, a video that is interesting based on the topic they are working on, I will send it sometime after to the client. Not necessarily just after the workshop, but like maybe 2 months after, because it's a great way to keep in contact with the client. And it shows that you care about what happened. Okay? So I hope after this presentation that you're ready to level up
5, 4,
your after workshop.
level up, 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 level up.
Yes, Meme, it's a great tips. You can also do that, but usually when you do this, it's because then it's more about showing what you've done. But it really works. All right, guys, this is where you can see that I was very late with my animation yesterday evening, and I don't want to say this morning. But if you enjoyed today's session, there are a good chance that you will love my newsletter. I think I've seen a lot of attraction on the resource guide that I done on the level up session. So if you want to grab the resource guide, there is also a summary of that talk that is in the newsletter, and it has already been posted. So make sure to subscribe if you're interested in it. And if you want to learn more about my secret, I will make it short, but basically I have a 4-week program that is called the Facilitators Corner Bootcamp. It's 4 weeks where I'm going to teach you how to design best-in-class workshop. And again, when I started my journey, there are two things I wanted to buy. I wanted to see how a pro does it. And I wanted to have a view on a real workshop case, because usually in those trainings is like fake examples that have been simplified. I really wanted to see show me a real agenda on a real brief. And this is why in my course, the course has been designed this way. So if I show you what you will have is 3-hour session live, because there are so many e-learning out there. This is live. We are learning together in a very small group. I know it's long, but again, you don't become a pro with 1 or 2 hours. We need more time. You will have access to the recordings of the course in high quality, because guess what? I will use OBS to record, right, Said? You will have access to a private community, tool and resources. I will give you my Miro templates, how I capture the brief of the client, how I prioritize what is important, how I design a workshop. You will have the chance to practice, see me facilitate a real workshop, practice on a real customer brief. When you're going to design it, you're going to design it with someone else, so with a teammate. And at the end, the last session is actually you facilitating a workshop and getting feedback from me, but also from your peers. And you will have a very nice looking certification. So my course is great. I know it, but apparently other people are sharing the same. And this time we have the slide on screen. By the way, it's easy to get 9.3 because I've only run the course 2 times so far.
But I know people who were in your course. Nicole Mitter, I know her. Sylvia Coco was on my podcast, and I only heard good things about your course, Mehdi.
Thanks, Nathy.
You're welcome.
I'm the type of guy. I'm always going I'm giving all, so that it's really valuable for everything, no matter the session. All right, so I've put my 5 years of learning practice, and I've been investing a lot on facilitation training, more than I think 20K. So everything is in there. You will get access also to those amazing cards. So I've created a set of cards, not even influenced by Alex, because I've created this a year and a half ago. But basically, people believe they need to know every workshop activities that are there. But I believe with the right set of activities, you can design most of your workshop, 80% of them. Of course, sometimes you will need to go to certain resources, and I've put those resources in the newsletter, so feel free to find them there. But basically, I try to gamify the entire workshop design experiences. You will have illustration on those cards, the time it takes, and also I'm following the formula to give clear instructions. So on the verso of the card, you have the what and the why, and the how is on the other side of the card with examples. So this is the slide that matters for most of people. It's a big value, small price. What you will get is, the first time I'm doing this, I'm going to print the cards. So I'm actually working with a print designer to have them perfect for print. You will have access to every recording of the session. Before the course was 6 weeks, so I've learned it's too much. So I also have bonus modules that are recorded, and there will also be live Q&A during the cohort, so that you can ask me the question of things you've maybe tried already, or that you've been re-seeing the recording or checking the deliverables. All right, and because you are part of Fit for Facilitation, we are giving you 47%. So it's 790 euro. If you go to my website, you will have the chance also to book a call with me. So if you have more questions, or you want to know if it's a good fit, feel free to set up something in my Calendly. And yeah, and we already have some nice people from Fit for Facilitation who took the course. So thanks to you guys, it's going to be a great one. All right, it's 3:00.
Wow, wow, crazy. I was just thinking, is point on time? It's crazy.
So
Mehdi, we want to share you because we know that you are sick. Your nose is going. So Thank you so much. You did it so well.
One last, it's not one last time because I guess I'm going to spoil the after party, but let's level up and then we can go into questions.
Yes.
4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy. All this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy. Yummy all in your
For the French speaker, je suis mort.
Je suis mort.
There is no battery anymore. So I'm going to die in my chair and listen to your question.
Can you at least try to answer one question?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to answer to the question for sure.
Just that you know that people would love to buy your cards. Just the cards. So this is maybe something you should think about.
It's in the. I think I'm hitting for September because I also want to give a course with it, but then a recorded one that will be free with the cards.
You are going under. Look at your camera.
Shall we finish with the fun part first, and then go to Q&A? Yeah, you know why he forgot? Because one of the prizes today is a coaching session with Mehdi, so he tried to sneak it by you, but no, not on my watch. I will.
And I said people can change it with someone else.
Yeah,
if you prefer to come with me, come with me.
Yes, give me just a second to, of course, do all the thingy things, and then we have, I think it's this one. Yes, it's this one. Okay. Again, just like in the past, if you followed along and this is not your first session, we have a few prizes for you. And to win one of the prizes, first of all, you have to be still in the room. And I think there are a lot of people still in the room, over 60. And the second one is you need at least 2 comments in the chat so that you get recognized by the winning wheel you can see to my left. And if you want to participate and you maybe, okay, you understood, just share something in the chat so you have a count of 2 comments in the chat. As always, it's that easy. And then we will spin the wheel and see if the winner wants his or her prize. The first one is maybe a coaching session with you, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So just as we know, okay, the first spin is for a coaching session with Mehdi, a 101. And let me see how many people we already have on the wheel. It's 67, which is a lot. Okay, last 10 seconds to add something nice in the chat to get on the wheel. And then we will spin. Okay. I think that was it. And do it with me on the count of 3. Oh, I will count down this way around. 3, 2, 1. And I know it's a little bit small, but I will read out the names loud. It's Ralph van Krombrugge.
Okay. There was a guy yesterday that could not make it today because of the family. I want to offer my place to him.
This is Paul Dyke. No, right? I think this was it. You are amazing.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So generous.
If you don't know Ralph is the best.
Yeah. Or Ralph doesn't want it. That could also be a nice way to say, I don't want this. I just
No, but because
I'm just kidding.
You should take someone you hate and then you give them.
Is it? It was Paul, right? Paul Dyke, right? If I can remember.
Yeah, I need to check. Maybe the people in the chat, can say the name. So offer to him, for sure. That's it.
Awesome. And it was him or Ian, I cannot remember, but we will figure it out. Thanks a lot. It was very generous of you. He will be very happy. So this is the first one who won something who wasn't in the room. So, and let's do a second. Do we have a second spin for something? I'm not sure.
Yes, we have. I think so.
Storms.
Yes, storms.
We will be giving away a storms license for 6 months. It's 6, right?
6 months.
Very small on my screen. For 6 months. And if you already have it, just tell us. But otherwise, I will just spin the wheel again. And it's on the count of 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Mimp, you know it will not work 2 times.
This is Laurie Stanley. Are you still here? Are you still here, Laurie? Can you hear us?
I
if
don't
not,
see
I will.
her.
Okay. Yeah, please check the list. Otherwise, I will quickly
I don't see.
remove.
No.
Okay, then again, please do it with me. It's the last time we can practice this. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it before the song ends. Who do we have?
Ryan.
Someone
Ryan.
asked Mehdi, please pronounce the name correctly.
Rhiannon.
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 She told you before. I was just checking
Rhiannon.
if he remembers. Do you accept your price of 6 months Storms for free, which is an awesome tool by Alex himself? This
I
is your
do
price.
indeed. Thank you very much.
So
Awesome.
get in contact with me, and also I'm planning a free training to stars to those of you who won some free subscriptions. So I'm going to give you a link so that you can tell me if you can be there. Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was it with the prizes. We wrap up the last official session and we see each other in, oh my God, I need to prepare stuff in about 2 hours, 1 hour and 50 minutes. Please stay. We will still have questions and other stuff for Mehdi, and I will just de-highlight myself so we can, please just raise your hands or unmute yourself if there's nobody in the waiting queue.
What was that time for the party?
In 2 hours from now, so it's 11 East Coast time, 11 a.m.
Okay. So 10 a.m. my time.
Okay. Would be happy if you can make it. Someone will share the link in the chat again. Please join us. It will be fun, casual, and the last chance to connect. Well, not the last chance, but together as a community.
I don't think my boss will like me having wine at 10 a.m.
But you can have a coffee.
Or vodka, if you like. If he doesn't accept wine, everything is okay. No, I don't want to encourage people to drink.
So I put the link to the community after party in the chat if you haven't registered now. But maybe there are still questions to Mehdi, right?
To my co-host, huh? I mean, like, you're also pros of after workshop.
I had a hand with you. Please.
Alex, you can put the link to the the free Storms training, of course. I'm sure people would be interested.
Okay,
Go ahead,
great.
Matthew.
Or was it an accident? Matthew, if you're still there, just unmute yourself and ask.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you guys were ready for the question or not. So I'm actually in a perfect situation for this course. I just finished a 4-hour workshop last week up with a client, and now I'm trying to get I have the follow-up already scheduled 2 weeks out, but I noticed after I did the workshop that I need one more touch point with them. I actually created a bit of homework spin-off once I realized this is the direction the workshop was going for them. Problem is I'm not getting any feedback of whether even they even got it. They're doing it. Reached out a few times, poked them like, hey, I'd love to do a readout with a decider, let them know what's going on. But I'm not getting keeping those channels of communication. I'm just kind of curious on once you've had the workshop and the channels of communication kind of die off for some reason, even though it's only just been a week, what do you do to kind of get the momentum going again? Because you just don't know if they're doing anything or not.
Wow. It's a tough one that never happened to me. But what I would do, I guess I would reach out to maybe some of the participants that have been in the room and just like trying to understand, because maybe there are something busy or there is something like important happening in the company that has his full focus.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when they are, I don't know if it's an important stakeholder. If they are, what I do sometimes I go through their assistant. And also, like, I'm a type of, like, I'm old school with those things. I try to pick my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you try this.
I've tried to reach out email. I don't his phone only goes to his office. So
to the office. Yeah. Also try to always pick mobile phone if it's something that is okay with the, I would say, the culture of your country, of the company. But yeah, I'm sending text. Huh? I don't do WhatsApp because WhatsApp I've got to learn that with some clients it's like the limit. But I send texts to busy people because I know it's easier for them, and then they answer me later. And then they're happy. It's not an email because it's a top of like all the emails they have.
Yeah.
I don't know if Nathy or Alex, you have like a better answer than mine.
No, I do that also. So most of the time I get the number of my client, so the decider, so that it's easier to communicate. And when I send an email and I see there is no response, I just send a quick WhatsApp. I send a WhatsApp. Like, oh, I'm sure you're busy, just that you know that I have sent you an email and that's important. Another thing that I would really recommend for the future is to set your ways of working from the beginning, from the first conversation with your client, and put it also in the proposal that working with you is about having this interview with participants, if it's the case, and a closing session that is very important for them to make sure they don't miss any information and to see what should be the recommendation for next steps. And I try really to put this up from the beginning so they are not so you are not chasing for the customer after.
I do exactly the same. When I do my first meeting, I show something that is called how are we going to work together? And I show the different meetings. So you have different scope meeting, prep meeting, the facilitation. And I show when we work together, we also have this last meeting. And it's probably one of the most important because then I explain that the most critical failure mode of a workshop is that it's not during the workshop, but it's after the workshop, hence the session that Mehdi is doing right now. So I explained to them that this is where we're going to get the benefit from the workshop. And we schedule it, in fact. So we schedule it something 1 week after the main workshop. Already scheduled. And it's both part of the service you provide and also for you a way to upsell something at the end to get the testimonials and whatever.
Yeah. And I also say at the beginning that I will ask for testimonials. I also say this. So the only thing, maybe you cannot use the testimonial sometimes when you have special contract, like an NDA or something like that. There are things that you cannot use on your website. But I generally ask always for a testimonial, even if I cannot reuse it, to have it in my thing. So these are things that I say from the very beginning.
Yeah, I had all my schedules. We scheduled everything on calendars before the workshop ever happened. This was just and at the end of the workshop, I noticed I needed to follow up. I stated to the decider, I'm going to be following up with you with another one-on-one meeting after this. And they sat there and nodded their head. So when I went out to reach out, I've not gotten anything. So it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But then what I would say in your email or the communication you tried, right away make it about them and explain what are the risks if this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because then it's like maybe this guy wants to sell me something else or I don't know what. Like put a bold statement like what we've done is at risk because bam bam bam, and then you're gonna hook him to read your email, and then he will understand it's like okay, I should be there because otherwise I just lost the money and it was useless.
Yeah, I'm still charging them either way. So.
And I guess it was the first collaboration with the client.
This is the very first one, yes.
Yeah. And did it go well?
I think the workshop went great. Now I read a little bit into body language. They had a lot of good comments, but I could tell from the decider that even though I stated what this was and what this was not, I still think he was kind of squirmy. So I was like, I need to follow up with you. I know what to do next, but I need to talk to you about it.
Okay. Is there any other question?
Yeah.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
I heard a hand. Dolores, please unmute yourself.
Hi. I'm sorry. I'm echoing.
No, it's okay.
On her side,
So I
we
just
can hear
wanted
you
to
fine.
add I was typing it, but maybe just to say it out loud. So, Matthew, that does sound like a hard situation. So, some things I've done, and it was even in terms of getting sponsorship for a job fair in my day-to-day work, where you just want to know, are you going to sponsor or are you going to have a booth at the job fair? So in one case with a hotel, I just put in the subject line a quick question. And then it was like, hi, know you're probably really busy. Just want a quick answer. Could we meet in the next week or two? Or, like, what is blah, blah, blah. Because I find, and I coach my team about this all the time, is we write all this stuff, the why, and then we put what we want at the bottom as well. So I always tell my team, flip what you want to the top, and then the explanatory stuff is later if needed. But yeah, it works really well. A quick question. I love what people are saying about pre-booking a meeting. And then I just wondered if you guys found helpful to send a message on LinkedIn message or text. I know recently for hiring a facilitator, didn't get a response on email, but I sent him a quick LinkedIn message and he answered like that. So that's some thoughts. It's nice. I'm hoping like I can contribute here. I got such value yesterday and today.
Of course, Dolores, it's always a lot of value to get the ideas of others. Thank you so much.
Just like to add a short thing to that. I mean, you're trying to reach people. I think using something like LinkedIn, why not? If they're active there, and it's the fastest way to, and also the form of how you write.
One other thought for Matthew, if I may say. I wonder if you sent them a meeting invite. Maybe then, they'll just book it or they'll decline so you actually know they're alive. Or maybe
Absolutely.
from that, they'll suggest an alternate time.
Yes,
and just call it something like quick touch base.
Absolutely. I was also thinking, do you have a Calendly when you can propose like three
Somebody
different...
else might think of the phrasing better.
Sorry.
Hopefully he's still here.
I think you cannot hear us anymore, Dolores, because...
Yeah. Matthew, I was also thinking if you want to propose some meeting options, do you have a Calendly where you can set like 3 different dates in the morning, in the evening, on different day, so that they can pick and you ask them pick the one that fits the best to your calendar?
Yes, I sent them through a Google chat, but yes.
Okay.
I did in my email to them.
But there are some clients, honestly, I had one client like this. There are some clients, you can try everything. And if they don't follow up for any reason, it's the question, do you want to still work with them after? So at the end, this is what I'm asking myself. At the end, I ask myself, hey, I don't want to spend hours. Of course, it would be great to continue the work. But if they are not responding, maybe there are some reason, or maybe something went wrong and they are not honest enough to tell you what. You never know, actually. You never know. Or the chef is not here anymore because he has been replaced. Whatever, sometimes you don't know what is happening. So don't take it on you. This is just what I want to tell you.
And sometimes you have crazy stories like the reason why they left the company is they've been fired. I've even had and I'm not even joking, like they died. I had a client who died, and I'm serious about it. It was a sad news. So you never know. But Matthew, what we can do is we are 27 people in the room. We're all going to make a LinkedIn post and tagging the guy. I'm gonna say, okay, you should answer, Matthew.
It's called a flash mob.
That would be interesting.
I had also the fact that my email, so I had it last year, my professional email was not going through their firewall for some reason. And I found it out 2 weeks later because I I was communicating with one person of the company with my private email, and I found out they never get my emails. And I was like, oh my God, why they don't answer me? The workshop were great. So sometimes there are some other reason.
Right.
Just
Thank you guys
regarding
very much for
the
your advice.
Thanks a lot. Just regarding the time, so because in 90 minutes we have the follow-up session, the
look.
last one.
Look in the chat. Look in the
Can
chat.
anybody hear me?
Ralph.
Look in the chat. Look in the chat. Ralph did something great.
But nobody's listening to me. I'm trying to
No.
do
Look in the
emotional.
chat.
Yeah, I see it. I'm looking on the chat, but I'm trying to give an emotional speech, and you're interrupting me. Yeah,
sorry.
close the session yourself. I don't care. See you later, guys.
It really left. No.
No, mais no. Said.
It's the first time on the picture that I see Said standing. I never saw. Okay, guys. If there is a burning question or a question that comes up afterwards when you, I don't know, deliver the workshop, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Nathy or Alex. Feel free to. We see each other at 5 for the European, 10 for the Lorraine, and 11 for the West Coast people. It was a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed the session.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
See
guys.
you. Closing session is not a closing session. It's an after party.
Yes. And maybe the start for something bigger.
We can have a little bit of music now.
So any
Said.
Germans here? I don't know. No, not Said. Said will not do anything today. You cut me off. Do your own music, do your own things. I don't care anymore.
Bisous, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Ciao,
Bis später.
ciao.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön.
Merci.
Merci. Thank you.
Merci for everyone.
See you, Martha.
A bientôt.